So let's start with just some basics about LEQ, okay? Oh, this is gonna be fun, I'm gonna move you. There we go. There we go. So what's LEQ stand for?
Long essay question.
Okay, or also known as the long donkey question or the long fill in the three-letter word question. Okay, you get the idea. Okay, yeah. What's nice about next year on your AP exam is that you will have a choice. You get to pick from 3 prompts. Okay. So the first prompt will be from the earlier 2 time periods, like unit 1 through 4, like we already know about. The second one will be from period 2 and 3, unit 3 through 6, okay, which is kind of like the middle chunk of our course. And then the third option will be from 1900 to basically the present. So if you like the more modern history, then you have that option too. So it's nice that you have options, okay? Do you have options for the DBQ essay? No, they give everybody the same set of documents. You get 7 documents, you have to write about 3 or 4, and it's the same one for everybody. But this, they give you a choice. Now, what's kind of nice about this is they always use the same historical thinking skills, right? So they're either going to ask you similarity or difference, cause or effect, or change in continuity, so CCOT. Those are the historical thinking skills that every DBQ prompt, every LEQ prompt, it will be one of those. Okay, so that's consistent across the board, and that at least kind of makes it a little bit better. So the tail end of that is that you don't have documents to kind of give you any inspo. Some people like the DBQ because it's like, oh yeah, I know something about it, and it kind of jogs your memory if you have a quote, a picture, a cartoon, a map to help you with that. Whereas with the LEQ, it's like legit everything that you know about that topic off the top of your head. And some people find that more intimidating. It's like, oh, where do I go with this? Whereas with the DBQ, they have something that they know they have to write about. Some people don't like the DBQ and like the LEQ better because they don't have to deal with documents. So it's totally a personal preference thing. Best way to study for both is make sure that you know your vocab. Study 5 minutes a day, please. It's a really good study habit to do. I know. You don't want to, but yeah, you need to. So, do you remember how many points the DBQ was out of? 7. Very good, guys. Okay? And 3 of those, actually more than that, like 4 of those points are actually the exact same ones for the LEQ. The contextualization and the thesis point. And then evidence points. The evidence obviously is coming straight from your head, not from the documents. So there's 2 evidence points, and you don't have to worry about sourcing those documents. So that's the 7th point that's left off. There's 2 analysis and reasoning, or A&R points. 1 you get for having body paragraphs, or just paragraphs in your essay that basically show that you know essay structure, and that essay structure is based on what the prompt is about, right? So if you have a prompt about, I'm going to keep on using the same example, the main causes of World War I, evaluate the extent to which militarism was a cause of World War I. If you make sure that you have an intro, have a conclusion, and have 2 body paragraphs about the causes of World War I, you get that point. That should be a gimme point. We can all make paragraphs when we write, correct? So you're starting with 1 point. Good job, guys. You got this. Okay? The second one is the complexity point, also known as the unicorn point, where you have to show that you understand the depth and complexity of the topic, and there's a variety of different ways to do that. Okay? I'll show you this kind of in bulleted form again. You can click on here. This is on Google Classroom and actually see the College Board rubric. I wasn't going to give that out to you because I just didn't want it to be too much paper. You kind of have it in front of you on the bulleted sheet that we're going to start with anyway. Okay? We'll go over all of this as well. Right. So one thing to keep in mind before we get to that is the 2 points for evidence and supporting your argument, you can get 1 point for evidence as long as whatever evidence you write in your body paragraph have something randomly to do with the topic. Yay, you get a point for that. Okay, as long as there's enough of it, right? You have to have like 2 vocab words in there and like make something out of it. But if you support your thesis that answers the prompt with your evidence, you get the 2nd point for that one. Okay? So that's why having a good thesis is so important, because you can't get that 2nd evidence point unless you actually have a thesis to prove. Okay. So just to show you how easy this could be. Historical thinking skill. Comparison. Can you do a comparison? Pick something out.
The bear.
The bear. Yep. Fish, bear. Right. You can do similarities and differences. See? You can run an LEQ. You can do a DBQ. It's all the same thing as when you were doing this in like highlights when you were, a little kid waiting in the doctor's office. That's when I did them. Could you say what the causes or the effects of this picture were? Okay. Maybe. Okay. Holocaust, fascism, whatever. Okay. Or changes in continuities over time. All changes in continuity over time is what's similar and different. It's a comparison, but it's over time. So think of it that way, okay? And you don't really need to have your Chromebook out right now, so just make sure that you're locked in with that, okay? So is it the same place?
Yeah.
Same 2 continents. Nothing shifted. No Pangea going on, right? But what do we have as a difference? Countries. Oh, okay. There we go. So we now have countries. That's a difference. You got this, right? Good to go? So let's take a look at this example prompt. Here's a little bit of contextualization that they might give you. And then this is the prompt. It's not a question. It's a statement. Do this. Develop an argument that evaluates the extent to which developments in economic or commercial practices in Afro-Eurasia affected trade in this period. Okay, because this is your context. Yeah, but you also have to give context too, so you have to make sure you know something else about it, or go into a little bit more detail on that. Or go into something before that. Yeah, it gives you some kind of a starting point, absolutely. Martin, you have a question, or are you just stretching? Huh? Okay, cool. So here's what I do when I look at something like this. I say to myself, okay, evaluate the extent to which just means how much. I have to prove, I have to create a claim, I have to create a thesis, an argument that says how much did the developments in economic and commercial practices in Afro-Eurasia affect trade between 1200 and 1450. So to me, this is thinking, 1200 to 1450, 1200 to 1450. That's Silk Road. That's Trans-Saharan trade. That's not IOTV yet. Right? Oh wait, yes it is. So I have to check myself and make sure that I know what time period the information happened in. And it's okay if you're first oh, did that happen in that time period? I need to think about that. And just make sure that you've got your parameters. How are you feeling? Okay, let's practice. Yay, we're ready to move on. Look at us go. So, they're going to give you basically your rubric right here. How many points did we say an LEQ's out of? 6 points, okay? If you want to, you can just write 6 points here. Okay. Mark this all up. Underline, highlight. We're going to start working on this document. So here are your 6 points, just to remind you. First point, you need a thesis or a claim. Mayo's been working with you on the umbrella claim, right? And our lines of reasoning, we're going to work with that and use that so we can be consistent and know what we're doing. Second point, context point. What led to this happening? How did we get here in history? Don't go like origin story like too far back, but what led to historically. 3 and 4, that's a 3, there we go. So third and fourth point, you get 2 points for supporting your argument with evidence. If you just have evidence, it's 1 point. If you support your argument with evidence, that's 2 points. So that bullet point has 2 points attached to it. Fifth point is making sure that you have framer structure, meaning paragraph. And those paragraphs have to be based on the prompt. So depending on what the prompt is, okay, you have to basically just make sure you have, paragraphs based on that. And then the unicorn point, also known as the complexity point, also known as the other analysis and reasoning point, is showing your complex understanding. There's a lot of different ways to show that, and I'll go into that a little bit more tomorrow because it's on the other sheet, on the outline, which we probably won't get to today. We're going to take this step by step. We okay? Like during remote learning, on my thumbs up? We all right? Yeah? Okay, cool. So, let's take a look at the prompt. Underline. Don't be a hyper highlighter. Underline as few words as possible in the context sentence and in the prompt sentence. What's important? Go ahead, take a minute.